Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cosmic Jellybean, and you guys probably know me as the guy that makes the Necro videos, and yeah, I love Necromancer. It's been one of my favorite class ever since I re-rolled to it. Um, if you don't know, I re-rolled from a thief back in the day to a Necro when the game first came out. My plan was to play a class that can do a little bit of everything, a class that can range and a class that can melee. So by default, you know, this is before the game even came out. You're in your little groups and stuff, and you're talking about classes. And I guess I don't remember if there was a beta or something like that, but I remember before the game even came out, people already knew what classes were like going to be and what tier and stuff like that. So at first I was like, oh, I definitely want to be a ranger. I want to be a ranger because they could do melee and they can do range. Like that's all I ever wanted to do on any game I ever played. And the MMORPG that I mainly came from was World of Warcraft, and at the time there was not really a class that could do both melee and range like it is now. Like now there's a bunch of options for that in multiple MMORPGs, but back then it just wasn't a thing, right? So as I was as the game was about to launch and everything like that, everyone was telling me, oh, I'm making a terrible mistake because Ranger can't really do any DPS as range, so it's going to be forced to melee anyway, so you're just better off not playing this class. And guys, I was kind of sad, but then they told me to play Thief, and I had this thing against Thief from playing a warrior back in the day on World of Warcraft for so long. I just built up this thing against like ninjas and thieves. I was just like, I don't, I want all the smoke with them. I don't care about that class. I'll never play those type of class. And then I looked into it and I saw like, okay, they use bows mostly or whatever. And back then the cluster bomb was the truth. You'd hit a cluster bomb on something, man, it would just blow it out. I think they nerfed it or whatever, but Thief used to be way more aggressive. And I made tons of PvP videos on another channel back then. I can't even remember the name of the channel. I think it ended up getting like deleted or something like that, whatever. But I had like 200 and something PvP videos on Thief, and I would play Thief in a manner like a warrior. Like I would just run up on people and just like just outmaneuver them and stuff like that. But I wouldn't like abuse stealth and stuff like that. I just thought that was a punk way to play, so I fought straight up. And this isn't my original Thief, mind you guys. This isn't my original Thief. What happened was, I fell in love with World versus World once I hit max level, and I joined this guild. I'm actually still in that guild to this day. I wasn't always in a guild. I actually left them and then rejoined later. When I came back to the game, I think I took like a month or 2 months break or whatever, and when I came back to the game, my server was dead, and the only way to transfer back then was to delete all your characters. So I deleted my Thief, and I deleted a bunch of other 80s as well, but I never really played them. I just purely played this Thief for about a year and a half or so. Like I played the crap out of this Thief back in the day. You guys don't even know. Not this Thief, but another character or whatever, right? So when I did that, I made this character, and this has been my main ever since. I absolutely love Safari. I absolutely love a Safari Reaper. Like, just look at him, he's just so cool. Like it's so hard to play any other class after that, and I've been Necro ever since. But there's some classes that has almost gotten me. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that right now. So the first class that I ever considered re-rolling for was this warrior right here, and you can tell because he has 54% map completion. Okay, so back in the day, I started to fall in love once. I think when Heart of Thorns came out, when they got Zerker, oh my goodness, it just made me feel like anime, right? So Warriors just used to be absolutely crazy, and it was conditioned. So I had a condition set built for him. I actually built a Ascendant condition set for him, right? and I was loving it. I was running through all the story on this character or whatever. Actually, I think he's like, I don't do the main story on all my characters at all, but I did it on him. I'm not sure where he's at as far as, you know, his story or whatever, but he's pretty far. He's pretty far. I think he's the him and my Revenant are pretty far. But what happened was they actually nerfed his sustainability to the point where you couldn't really do a lot of stuff. Like they nerfed him really bad, and it, I mean, now I think they can kind of survive now. I think they got their sustainability back a little bit, but they nerfed it so bad that it made me just completely lose all interest in Warrior. And this is the first time I played Warrior since vanilla World of Warcraft, because I usually don't play Warrior classes anymore. I'm just like burnt out on them. I mean, like the whole everything they can really do, other than like Barbarian for Diablo, but that's different. That's like, you know, an action RPG type thing, and you guys get it, right? So I seriously consider re-rolling 2 Warrior just because of Zerker. The Gun Blast Zerker, if you guys know anything about that, that's when you get all your rage up and you press a button and you switch to your gun and you press the button again, and like 3 people just instantly drop to the ground. That was so fun in World versus World. It wasn't super efficient. There was other ways I could have, you know, gone about helping my group, but I just didn't care, guys. I just didn't care. It was just so much fun, and that's all I cared about. It's like, boom, you get Zerker Raid, and you just pop like 3 people, and you just like walk away like a complete star, like a complete monster. It just felt so good. So the second time was when Revenant came out, and as you guys can see, this guy's 60% map completion. You guys are kind of gonna get the trend here, right? So when Revenant came out, I kind of just was like, oh wow, Revenant is just everything. It's really, it's just the aesthetic of a Revenant. Like okay. So as you can see, the Revenant, right now I got him in like this tin can stuff, but the main reason, I'm just like a magical warrior, and you like, the idea of boons and stuff like that was just so amazing to me. Like I can just run around and do map completion with permanent swiftness, permanent might, and permanent fury. Like this was the biggest one. That 20% crit really made you feel it when you ran into a mob out in the open world to burst anything down. And at a point, everyone thought that, you know, Revenants had unbelievable and broken DPS, but in a raid environment or a group environment where everyone had fury or whatever, it really didn't matter. And if the Revenant was in your group or whatever, it didn't matter because he was giving the buff to you as well. So it would all equal out, right? But I just love the whole idea of that. Like I still to this day, I love it. And I've made all my legendaries that I made it for my Revenant. There's only one legendary that I made for another class or whatever, right? So I made the moot, I made the axe and all that stuff. I made all of this items for the Revenant. Like I got him a full Zerker set and a full Condi set. He's the only other class in the game. He's the only only other class besides my Necro or whatever that I went out the way to do all that. So you would say that he's progressed more than my Necro, except for I have a lot more hours on my Necro. But he's definitely has my second most hours, I would say, at this point. Is just because the idea of him. And I played them back when people thought they sucked. I played them when people thought they were OP. It didn't matter to me, and I mostly ran fractals on them. I really love PvE on Revenant. It just feels really, really, really good. I always pull decent numbers. I wouldn't say like top tier numbers with him, but I always pull a little bit above average with him when I go to raids and stuff like that. And that always made me feel good. There's only one class that I pull higher numbers on, and that's my Reaper. And that's just because I know Reaper, and I actually, believe it or not, majority of raids that I'm in on bosses that you know, suit melee characters or whatever and stuff like that, like you know, in Guild Wars, there's raid bosses that aren't good for melee. There's raid bosses that kind of suck for melee. And on the ones that are good for melee, I end up surprising people on my Reaper because they just think that Necros can't do damage, or now that they can or whatever, it's very rare to find a Necro that can do damage. And I've topped charts and stuff like that on my Reaper tons of times with multiple guilds and multiple pugs, and they always message me and they're just like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Like, that's not even a part of like the build that Snow Crows recommends or whatever. And it's not really about playing a build. Like, so when you see rotations and stuff like that on Snow Crows, sometimes that rotation is a little bit too hard or whatever for you to do. It's like their play style. So sometimes you'll get more DPS out of running things that are more familiar to you. And that's what I told them. I run wills, and it may seem crazy or whatever, but I'm just so used to it. It's autopilot. So when things are that easy in autopilot, I'm able to focus on the fight and actually be able to still do a complete rotation without stopping or having to look at my keys or worry about anything, because I just know it so well. And that's the key or whatever of having decent DPS, you know. As if you're sitting there and you're wondering what skill to hit next or all that stuff or whatever, man, you're gonna have problems. Your DPS is gonna fall off tremendously, especially in Guild Wars raids where the bosses are so mobile. 1 second the boss can be in your face, and the next second the boss can be in somewhere in another month. And that's just the truth, right? So there's another time I almost re-rolled, and that's Engineer. And you guys know that or whatever, I bought all his bag space and stuff like that, man. But Engineer is one of those classes in Guild Wars 2 that I don't think that's like been designed to its potential. And I'm not going to talk about the latest Engineer, because the latest, I would say Engineer is a class I build a legendary for, a legendary hammer. So the what is it, the judge or whatever or something like that, I built that hammer for him. And not this Engineer. Actually, I had another Engineer that had 100% map completion, and I deleted him like an idiot because you can't change your race in this game, and that sucks. And I've deleted so many characters that had 100% map completion just to re-roll them, and I learned my lesson, and I try not to do it no more. And that's why I'm not deleting my main Necro for Cosmic Jellybean. I'm still trying to figure out whether I want to level him or not, because I really do still love my regular Necro, and it's just so much cooler to see your outfits on a character that just has a proportionate body versus the Safari. I mean, not the Safari, my bad, the Izora. These little rats, they're cute with certain items and stuff like that, but then outside of that, some items just don't look cool on them whatsoever. So that's my whole fight with this character, and that's why I'm not focusing completely on leveling it. But those are my serious re-rolls, and as you can see, I started another Revenant. This is actually another reason why this character right here is another reason why I didn't main Revenant, because I never liked the fact that he was human. There's something about human that I just don't like, and it sucks because I actually deleted another Revenant. I believe that was almost map completed or whatever. He was pretty high as well to make this human, and it was I think it was a Azoran, and then I had a Safari one. Oh my goodness, guys, I've deleted so many characters and I regret it so bad, because this right here I want to be my main Revenant, Klaus. And yeah, I don't know if I'll ever continue him. I think I will, because I really like Revenant. I got into the hang of things. Okay, so here's the last class, and this class I still struggle with today. So it's Ranger. Ranger is a class that I absolutely wanted to main, and every time I main this class, I have fun in every aspect of the game except for one. And it's not because of class design or anything like that. It's because of other people. Ranger has the worst stigma in the game in World versus World. In any competitive or duelist guild out there, in World versus World will not accept you. They will message you, I swear to you, when I would join my World versus World guild, no matter how much stuff I've helped out with my Necro, no matter how many guilds I've laid waste to with my wells and my massive AoE cleave and my spreading of conditions for them or whatever, no matter how well I do all of that, I still don't have the freedom to just jump on a class like this and just enjoy one night. Just one night. Every time I've logged onto this character, I've gotten a message from the guild leader or one of the officers or one of the freaking the raid leaders or commanders, and they're just like, can you switch back to your Necro? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. And that's why I don't play Ranger, because it's so annoying. And I feel so sorry. And I'm so sorry to you Ranger mains out there that just can't have a peaceful time in World versus World. Like, I swear, like, I'm so sorry that you guys can't join a competitive guild out there, and you guys can't join skirmish guilds or whatever. Like, I feel like Rangers have so much potential. If they had a group of just 3 Rangers, you don't understand how powerful that is. There's no commander that can survive the burst from 3 Rangers. It's unblockable. It's just completely madness, right? It's so great. It's just so much stuff they can actually do. And there's no way that the other group is that coordinated or whatever to be able to stop an assassination like that, whatever. But no one even gives them a chance anymore. Back in the day, they didn't have a way to make their arrows unblockable and all that stuff. They didn't have those traits, but they have them now with Soul Beast, and Druid actually has some cool stuff too. And they're just looked over, and it pisses me off, because this class is actually so much fun, and I almost re-rolled to this class, and I really enjoy the whole idea of a pet and stuff like that, and structured PvP on this class is just absolutely amazing. But man, people are so, and so anyway guys, before this video gets any longer, that's it. Those are the classes that I absolutely almost not completely stopped playing Necro on, for, but those are the classes that I completely wanted to re-roll to, and I just didn't because of those reasons, you know, and that sucks. And just for engineer, if you guys didn't really understand my whole engineer rant or whatever, pretty much engineer falls short on some things. Like, the idea of it is really nice, but when you get in the game, the skills and stuff get repetitive. There's a little bit too much stuff to do on them as far as like rotations and things for PvE, and I think it just gets old. And yeah, that's just how that is. I never was able to get into swing of an engineer. I just like the idea of it, you know, and I just feel like it wasn't executed well. Peace out, guys. This is Cosmic Jelly Bean. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.